following is a presentation of WGN Sports.
From Wrigley Field on what started out as a cloudy and rather wet day, but the clouds are clearing up. Should be a great day for Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. The second to last game of the season and our final WGN broadcast as the Cubs host the Arizona Diamondbacks as they try to end a 3-game losing streak. Hi again, everyone. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. Again, a second-place finish, a winning season, but a non-playoff year for the Cubs. But they haven't been playing particularly well the last few days. You'd like to see them finish strong over the last 2 days.
Well, no question about that, Len. As disappointing as the season has been, and we've talked about this over the last week or so, you want to finish strong so you've got some good memories going into the offseason. 3
straight winning seasons for the first time in a long time for this Cubs franchise. That's since Lou Piniella took over as the manager, and he takes a look ahead to next year, and he likes having those big expectations.
Look, this has been really 3 good years. You know, we've got next year to look forward to. Hope we get a world championship here. But, yeah, it's been very exciting for me. The city, the ballpark, the Cub fans. Yeah, it's been all I bargained for and more. I've been very happy and very appreciative, and I take winning very seriously, and I want to see us put the best product that we can on the field to please the 3 million fans that come out here and watch you guys on TV and listen on the radio, and hopefully we improve our ball club a little bit over the winter and have another go at it.
You know, Len, I think equally as important as improving the ball club is having some guys return to form, get back to near their career numbers, and in the case of some of the players, maybe improve upon the numbers that they put on the board this year. But either way, I know Lou is excitedly looking forward to next season.
And we have 2 games to go today. Randy Wells against Daniel Cabrera from Wrigley Field.
With just the right taste that's not too heavy, not too light. The difference is drinkability. The Illinois Lottery. Mega Millions can find you every Tuesday and Friday. Mega Millions. Have fun. Play responsibly. Comcast. Catch more games in HD on Comcast Digital Cable. Call 1-888-4BEST-TV today. By Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world. Visit refresheverything.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on.
You are watching the Chicago Cubs on WGN TV. Chicago Cubs baseball in high definition is sponsored by Comcast. The sun is out. That's good to see. Cool temperatures, but very pleasant in the sun today. Wind blowing out again, and here's the Diamondbacks lineup. They got 12 runs in the opener yesterday. Drew Ojeda, the former Cub. Reynolds, you have Miguel Montero cleaning up at the catcher position. Young, Parra, Burns. Young and Burns with big days yesterday. And it's Brandon Allen, the first baseman, hitting 8th. Daniel Cabrera, the pitcher, 9th. Set the Cubs defense here in a second as rookie righty Randy Wells finishes up what's been a fantastic first full season. Essentially a full season. He did begin the year at AAA Iowa, and we are underway today. Ball one to Stephen Drew.
And we talked about the ball club finishing strong, and you know Randy Wells would like to pick up victory number 12 today.
Right field corner for Stephen Drew. He's on his way to second as Fukudome gets it back in. It's a leadoff double for Drew.
Well, let's take a quick look at the Cubs defensively. Brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi, refresh everything. Reed Johnson, Tyler Colvin, Kosuke Fukudome across the outfield today. Ramirez, Terrio, Baker, Lee across the infield. Giovanni Soto will be doing the catching for Randy Wells. And we talked about the ball club in general would like to win the last couple games of the year here, have a good taste in their mouths going into the offseason. And you know Randy Wells would like to pick up a victory himself. He's pitched well enough to win at least 3 or 4 more games this season.
Augie Ojeda bunts it foul. This is the 4th consecutive game in which the opposing team's leadoff man has gotten on base. It's the 3rd straight game where it's been an extra base hit. Andrew McCutchen with a triple Wednesday night for the Pirates. Ryan Roberts hit a triple yesterday, and Stephen Drew a double today. Little tapper back to Wells. That'll keep Drew at second as Ojeda's thrown out. Check out the umpires. Our fake umps are back. These guys are from Toronto, by the way. Ed Rapuano, the crew chief, is working to play. Dan Bellino, Paul Schreiber, and Paul Nart are on the bases. Terry Muscat from Cubs.com in her blog talked to the fake umpires, and they've been around the big leagues. I think this is their 7th or 8th park. They work at the on the Toronto Stock Exchange. So this is what they do in their downtime. They pretty much call every pitch.
Fake umpires. We'll call them fumpires.
And I guess the umpires are not supposed to really engage them or acknowledge them during the game, but it sounds like there's a tacit acknowledgement that they're all right. We're giving the umpires a little love. It doesn't often happen. 1-1 to Mark Reynolds.
Rightfully so.
You're still not quite on board with the umpires in the front row.
No, I'm not.
I can tell you have not hit it well.
Like I said yesterday, it's tough enough to have 4 umpires in the house, let alone 2 extra ones sitting in the stands. And they're heckling the guys in the on-deck circle. Miguel Montero, I believe that is over there in the on-deck circle, hearing it from the faux pyres.
Swing and a miss, 2-2. One of the quotes was there's a league mandate not to engage us during the game. I've heard they all like us, but they can't talk to us. We've heard from sources that they all find it entertaining. And we do too. Or at least I do.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Reynolds has struck out a couple of times in the series. Most strikeouts in a single season in Major League history. That's number 217.
Well, 217 strikeouts on the season. It goes without saying that he doesn't cut down his swing with 2 strikes. This is a guy that's looking to hit the ball out of the ballpark every time he gets the bat off his shoulder.
And I don't think the Diamondbacks will ask him to cut down on his swing, nor have any of the teams Adam Dunn has played for. And if Reynolds did cut down on his swing, the 44 home runs he's hit this year, it'd probably go down a lot.
Well, he's improved his batting average 22 points because he has drawn a few more walks to go along with the 200 plus strikeouts.
This will get Wells out of the inning. Maybe it'll drop by Lee, but still plenty of time to get Montero. And that's it. Leadoff double, no runs. The Cubs are coming up. Diamondbacks brought to you by Pepsi. Refresh everything. Ryan Theriot should be refreshed after having yesterday off. Kosuke Fukudome's in right. Derek Lee back in the lineup, was out yesterday for personal reasons. That moves Ramirez down to the cleanup spot. Baker, Johnson, Soto. Tyler Colvin making his Wrigley Field debut today, and Randy Wells has done a pretty good job with the bat. 11 sac bunts.
A quick look at the Snakes defensively today. Burns, Young, and Parra across the outfield. Reynolds, Drew, Augie Ojeda, the former Cub, at second base. Allen over at first. Miguel Montero will be doing the catching today. Or right-hander Daniel Cabrera. Whole lot of L's and NDs on his line this year. He's yet to win a ball game. 0-5 with a boatload of no decisions. He's been pitching out of the bullpen more recently. This is his first start in quite some time.
It's his first start ever against the Chicago Cubs. Ball one low to Ryan Theriot. Daniel Cabrera is one of the biggest players in Major League history. He's 6'9" and listed at 269 pounds. And you talk about the L's, he has not pitched in one of his team's wins all season between the Nationals and the Diamondbacks. Every time he has appeared, he's either as a starter or a reliever, his team has lost the game. So he'd like to at least finish the season pitching in a win. Ground ball to Drew, comes in. Off balance throw, gets Theriot. Visit the official online shop of the Chicago Cubs at Cubs.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the Cubs.com shop. Fukudome ended an 8-game hitting streak yesterday, but he did walk 3 times and leads the team with 93 free passes. Strike one. Carmel Corn will be gone by the 5th inning.
Maybe sooner than that.
Well, the Cubs would certainly be best served in waiting out Cabrera. He's had a lot of wildness in his career. Wild pitches, hit batters, walks. 2 down. 39 walks, only 22 strikeouts coming in.
Well, patience doesn't seem to be a word that the Cubs hitters have used recently.
get down to the end of a season when you have very little to look forward to other than playing for personal pride, a lot of guys get overly aggressive. Certainly we saw it from the Pirates when they were in town. We've seen it from the Diamondbacks in the first game of this series, and we've seen it from the Cubs throughout.
Low part of the zone, strike one on Derek Lee. Guy stole your Cubs tie.
Wondered where it went. Those ties make good headbands. When you go to Lollapalooza, or over to the Metro to see a show.
The 0-2 to Lee. Ground ball up the middle. Drew spins. Pretty smooth play by Stephen Drew, and that's a 1-2-3 first for Daniel Cabrera. 0-0 after one. I want to thank the men and women behind the scenes. Roberto Rios was behind the graphic, one of our technical directors. Thanks to all the TDs and men and women in audio as well. Hi, Roberto. Sit down, says Skip Ellison, our director. Chris Young, 1-1. He had a perfect day yesterday at a home run, a walk, a single, a double, another single, and scored 4 times. He'll be followed by Gerardo Parra and Eric Burns. So all the outfielders in this inning. Big swing and a miss. It's 2-2 on Young. Seen some very aggressive approaches from both teams in this series. It's hit foul.
If you weren't with us for yesterday's ball game, this Diamondbacks ball club to a fault. A lot of overswinging, a lot of guys trying to hit home runs, drive the ball into the gaps. And this is a team that has a fair amount of speed up and down the lineup. You would think they would be more of a small ball type of a club, maybe play a little hit and run, steal some bases, but just about everybody in the starting lineup on a given day, with the possible exception of Augie Ojeda, looking to leave Earth if they get something in that strike zone.
Ready for a payoff delivery. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Off speed pitch from Randy Wells. Today's Walgreens celebrity bat kids, Toriana Brown from Aurora, Illinois, and Sam Rogers from Wakanda. For more information on how you can be a Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kid, go to WGNradio.com. Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. Left-handed hitting Gerardo Parra playing right. And takes strike one from Randy Wells. Wells facing the Diamondbacks for the first time. You want to face Parra with nobody on base. He has hit .364 with runners on, .229 with nobody on, and that .135 difference in terms of the batting average is the largest in baseball according to Stats Inc.
Well, this Diamondbacks club, obviously in a rebuilding mode, and a number of players on this roster were called up from the AA ball club in Mobile, Alabama, and Parra was one of those guys who made the jump from AA to the big leagues and homered in his first major league at bat against the Reds.
Yeah, John Hester was brought up from AAA in August. He hit a pinch hit 2-run homer in his first major league at bat. So they've had it happen a couple of times this season. Manager A.J. Hinch looks on. That's low. Wells trying to finish the year 2 games over 500, coming in at 11-10. Swing and a miss for his 3rd strikeout already.
Cub fans, don't forget to visit the WGN Sports Game Zone at WGNTV.com. Brought to you by The Great Escape for up-to-the-minute stats and information designed to give you everything you need to know during the game. The WGN Sports Game Zone is available for every Cubs game and is brought to you by The Great Escape. Pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and, say it with me, more.
Generally a fan of the ripped jeans, but I don't know on a day like this if I would want to draft down there. It is 54 degrees, the wind out of the northwest at 7.
Well, she's in the sunshine, though.
That's
probably
true.
very comfortable out there in the bleachers.
This time she wears shorts, though, it's going to look a little funny. Good tan there on the kneecaps.
Selective tanning.
Burns takes a strike. He hit 2 home runs, had 4 hits, 5 RBIs in the opener. 6th career 2-homer game and 6th career 4-hit game. Wells back in at 3-2. We'll do it again. Some more sartorial splendor out in the bleachers. Must be tie day.
Well, there's a lot of saloons down in Arizona where if you wear a tie into the bar, they chop it off and hang it on the ceiling.
Reed Johnson makes the catch. 6th straight set down by Wells since the leadoff double in the first. Still scoreless. bottom two, Ramirez, Baker, and Johnson against big Daniel Cabrera. And a slicing fly ball out of play off to the right. Cubs went down quietly 1-2-3 in the first. This is just the 82nd game of the year for Aramis Ramirez. So when it's all said and done, he's played about a half a season. And he's put up really big numbers when you think about it. Basically, he's been on pace for a 30 homer, 130 RBI season with a .316 batting average.
And fewer than 100 strikeouts on the season, which is highly unusual for a guy who is a run producer, a middle of the lineup guy like Aramis Ramirez is.
The kick and the 1-2 pitch just missed, and it's even up 2-2. Oh, I think it might have gotten him on the hand.
Cabrera tries to snap off a breaking ball, just ran up and in, never took the break. If anything, might have backed up a little bit, like it caught Ramirez either on the back of the left wrist, possibly the left forearm.
The first base runner, and Cabrera will work from the stretch for the first time. This is his first start with the Diamondbacks. One bad relief outing in his Diamondbacks debut at Colorado on September 6th. Since then has not allowed a run in relief. 4 appearances, 6 innings. Jeff Baker hitless yesterday. Inside, 2-0.
Yeah, Baker may have been 0 for 4 in the ball game yesterday, but he hit the ball hard 3 times. He's probably made the most consistent hard contact over the last week and a half or 2 weeks of any Cubs hitter. Made some loud outs to go along with his base hits.
That hit batter for Cabrera is not unusual. He led the American League with 18 hit batters last year with Baltimore. He has led his league in wild pitches twice. He's been in the top 3 in walks 4 times. Obviously, teams like his stuff. They like his build. Just trying to harness it all to find success. Just trying to get into that effectively wild category. So far, he's been mostly wild in his career.
We talk about young players coming up from the minor leagues as prospects. I think Cabrera would fall into the project category. I think there are probably a lot of pitching coaches that feel that with a couple of tweaks to his mechanics, maybe a different mental frame of mind out there on the mound, that you might really be able to harness that 6'9" frame and develop a good pitcher.
The 25th annual Cubs convention will take place at the Hilton Chicago on January 15th, 16th, and 17th, 2010. Rooms are available now by calling the Hilton Chicago at 312-922-4400 and asking for the Cubs convention rate. Weekend passes go on sale Wednesday, November 4th. For more information, visit Cubs.com. Come on in a night early and come over to the House of Blues for the Len and Bob Bash for Chicago Cubs charities. Looking forward to that. On the 14th of January, Reed Johnson squares to bunt, takes a fastball for a strike. 2 on without the benefit of a hit. Bunted foul, and it's 0-2 on Johnson.
Reed maybe trying to be a little too perfect with that bunt that time. You see a big Daniel Cabrera at 6'9" can get off that mound, bend over and pick up a bunt and get an out somewhere on the infield. That time Reed Tried to put it right down the third baseline.
It's like the center pitching to the point guard.
For all
Major League Baseball players come in all shapes and sizes.
That's for sure. This is one sport that you definitely see that there's no one body style that succeeds better than another.
Good snag by Montero. 2-2.
For all of his size and his wingspan out there on the mound, Cabrera doesn't generate a lot of velocity. His breaking ball is sitting in the high 70s. His fastball has touched 90 a couple of times. And you can see why that would be intriguing for a pitching coach, to figure out a way to harness that frame and that long arm, get a little better extension at the end of his delivery, and maybe find an extra 4 or 5 miles an hour in velocity.
Ground ball is short. They'll try to turn 2. And they're able to do that. 6-4-3. So a runner at third, but 2 outs in the inning. And let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Runner at third, 2 outs. It's Soto against Cabrera, who works from the windup. And a breaker is low, ball 1. Gio's had a tough time against the Diamondbacks in his career. He is just 1 for 29 versus Arizona. As the result of last night's action, the NL West still isn't over. Rockies beat the Dodgers. They're only a game back with 2 to go. They're both in the playoffs. And the Twins are only 1 behind Detroit, although they have to face Zach Greinke of the Kansas City Royals today. But the loser in that battle over the next 2 days, Detroit, Minnesota, and it could go to Monday. That's it. Losers out, the winner's in. And we remember the Twins last year. They went to game 163 before losing to the White Sox 1-0.
Soto fouls a ball off his instep on that left foot. He's kind of walked it off. There's another bruise to take into the offseason with you. When you're a catcher at this time of year, you take inventory. Okay, I got 1 on my right forearm. I've got 1 on my hip. I've got a couple of strawberries on my knee. And now I got 1 on the inside of my left foot.
Ball 4, good at bat, and here comes Tyler Colvin for the first time at Wrigley Field. Got a lot of playing time when he was called up on the last road trip. This is a first action on this homestand for the young Tyler Colvin.
We'll take a look at his setup in that left-handed batter's box. Talked to Von Joshua this morning, and they tried to get him up a little bit out of that exaggerated crouch that he was hitting in. They feel with his tall, lanky frame that he could generate a little more power if he was just slightly more upright in that batter's box.
Gobbled up by Ojeda. Colvin out, and the Cubs done. 3 base runners in the inning on no hits, but we're still scoreless. It's our high-def shot of the game, sponsored by Comcast. Leanne Womack, Grammy Award-winning country star, singing our national anthem. We just caught the tail end there, but you did a great job.
You know how it goes.
Oh, yeah. You know how it goes, but you sing it very, very well.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field.
Thank you.
And, yeah, big weekend here in town, isn't it?
Yeah, we played Joe's Bar last night. We're playing Grant Park today. I guess it's the Country Music Festival.
19th year, and Grant Park today and tomorrow. And the hours go till 9:30 p.m. and the admission is free.
Can't beat that.
Well, Cubs baseball and some country music this weekend. 3-1 the count on Brandon Allen. Brought over from the White Sox. And he pops it foul and out of play.
Well, Leanne, I have to ask you, ball players come in here to Wrigley Field, and universally, this is one of their favorite ballparks to come to, for obvious reasons, the fans and the view. But do you have a venue that you really enjoy going and singing?
Well, absolutely. This is great. And you're right. There are so many country music fans in Chicago. It's amazing. But this is beautiful. You don't see this anywhere, you know. I made my daughter and her boyfriend come because I said, you've got to see this place. It's beautiful. Very special.
Allen called out on strikes, bringing up the pitcher Cabrera.
Len and I had a chance to see a show at Red Rocks in Denver this time. Have you ever played there?
Yes.
Oh, that's special, isn't it?
Yeah, it is beautiful. I played there with Alan Jackson. It was great.
It's a pretty special place. And you're from Jacksonville, Texas, right?
Yeah.
Did you talk to Micah Hoffpower? That's his hometown.
Yes, he's so cute. Yes. I did get to talk to him. I was like, you're a baby. Yes.
2 strikes on Cabrera. Again, free admission, the Chicago Country Music Festival. And you will be at the Americana stage.
That's what I hear.
Yes.
At 4 o'clock.
The CMA Songwriters Series. Now, are you just playing? Or are you taking questions? Are you speaking to the crowd?
You know what? I'm going to do whatever they want me to do.
Perfect. Perfect. And I also see here you've got a free fan club.
That's the Leanne. You say it.
The Leanne Womack Country Music Appreciation Society and Social Club.com.
Very good. Yeah, it's a free fan club. They get to come backstage after the shows and that sort of thing. We have a big online presence. We're having a lot of fun with that.
That's great. You'll be at the House of Blues in Houston. I was there last time we were in Houston. Another great venue.
That is a fun place to play. It always sounds good in there.
Yes, it does.
There's a few country music fans in Houston.
Just a few.
Also performing this weekend, John Rich, Alejandro Escovedo, and many more. So make sure you check it out at Grant Park. And I think the weather generally has cooperated. You see some blue skies above, which is a good thing. We've had some rain here the last few days.
It rained on me yesterday.
1-2 to Stephen Drew as Randy Wells, big country fan, by the way, strikes out the side. Check out Leanne Womack coming up later. Thanks, Leanne.
Absolutely.
Randy Wells batting for the first time. He's really gotten into a nice groove. 6 strikeouts, including 3 in a row in the 3rd inning. By the way, it's LeanneWomack.com for her free fan club. Make sure you check it out online. I'm going to say that whole fan club. That would have been a pretty long website to remember. Rolled and it hits first base. Barehanded play by Allen. He just can't get a handle on it. As well as just poked it right down the line. It hit the base, and he has a base hit.
Well, you could almost anticipating that ground ball hitting the bag. It was rolling right down the stripe from our Southwest Sky Cam. A defensive swing from Randy Wells. Allen had a chance right there. He had a chance right there. And by the time he gloves it, Randy Wells is beating it out for an infield single.
Brings up Terrio with the pitcher on and nobody out. Cubs had the first 2 on in the 2nd, but could not get a run. Another double play ball. 6-4-3. Some more credits. Our wonderful WGN TV crew and video. Kurt Bagby, Dave Campbell, Tom Bagby, and Jim Pasma. Scorebox operators, Danielle and John. Danielle Denning, Marzuski, Mark Stensel, Tina Cowley, Mark Stensel. Fukudome, 2 outs, nobody on. Called strike. Nice crowd on hand here today. The weather again has for the most part cooperated. I think a few people stayed away the last couple of days with the rain. But as we heard Lou talk about in the open, over 3 million fans have come to Wrigley Field again this season. Well, the leadoff single by the pitcher for naught, and the Cubs go down scoreless, 0-0. underway in the Diamondbacks' fourth. Augie Ojeda 0 for 1. Hot shot. Nice play on the one hopper by Derek Lee. Now we recognize our tape operators: Steve Casey, Scott Jones, John Eckert, Dennis Gates, Terry Bates, and Ken Lyles. Put all the plural last names together. They'll do a wonderful job. I think we still have tape. Do we still have tape? That's what we call it.
That's what we call it. Yeah.
I still say, can you tape this show? When I really mean record.
Well, I heard it said a long time ago that televising sports is a lot like making sausage. It's really, really good, but you don't want to know how it's made. And all the names that you're going to see on the screen today are the people that make it look good.
Yeah, people really are surprised to learn just how complicated it is. While we're talking on the air, we have several people talking to us in our headset. I think going back to the days of Harry Carey, people knew that Arnie Harris talked to him because they could literally hear Arnie on the air sometimes. It would bleed through the microphone. Harry would talk to Arnie on the air. Hey, Arnie, can you get a shot of the bleachers? Swing and a miss. Another strikeout. That's 7 for Randy Wells. Mark your calendars starting November 15th. Fans can sign up for the 2010 Cubs Club, the official online fan club for diehard Cubs fans. Space is limited, but members' benefits could include the chance to purchase tickets before they go on sale to the public, attend a special private event at Wrigley Field, and use a VIP gate entrance into the park. For more information, visit Cubs.com. That's the hardest thing about, a lot of interesting challenges in doing television, but in terms of what we do, the ability to talk on the air while somebody else is talking to you off the air, it takes a little while to get used to. You just kind of become accustomed to it.
A lot of times that's how you can tell somebody who's maybe televising their first game. They'll start telling a story, and at some point in the story they'll just come to a complete stop right in the middle of a sentence when somebody in the truck is in their ear. And it does take a little while to get used to that, and fortunately we don't listen to the guys in the truck very often.
I'm sorry, did you say something, Bob?
I did not. Yes, dear, you're right. I'm sorry. 11 years today.
All
Congratulations.
Right. Full count on Montero. Slugged over 500 since June 17th. Best among all major league catchers, so he's hit for some thump. Not that time. Lazy fly to left. Johnson, the waist-high catch, and Randy Wells is dealing. Nothing. Sports Crew, our final WGN telecast of the season. No score as Derek Lee is in, and as we check out who's moving forward with Toyota here in a second. Derek Lee moving forward in the month of September. Pretty good chance he might win the Player of the Month.
Going back to July 1st, a little over 3 months, only Ryan Howard from the Phillies has more RBI than Derek Lee. And when you consider that Phillies lineup and the guys that hit ahead of Ryan Howard and the kind of years they've had, that really speaks to how hard Derek Lee has worked to drive those runs in here with the Cubs this year.
Today's Toyota moving forward thanks to Toyota. On a piece of Ramirez's foot. He was hit by a pitch in the second. Baker then walked, but Reed Johnson bounced into a double play, and it kind of took the Cubs out of that inning. And now we recognize members of our camera crew. Bob Albrecht working just below us. Mike Clay and Joe Miglio. (3-1) to Ramirez. Baker on deck. Ball 4. JD, John Dickinson. There's Win Griffiths. Mike Gentile. Marty Music. Pawsey Joe Pausback, pride of Marquette University. JT, Jim Tianis. Ray Moffitt, Greg Silas. Stop laughing, Jim. This is serious business. Fair ball. Through the bullpen. Ramirez on his way to third. A little slip up by Parra. But Mike Quaddy's going to hold Aramis at third. Double for Baker, second and third with only one out.
Another hard hit ball off the bat of Jeff Baker. This one just inside the first baseline. You see Brandon Allen shuffled off the bag after holding on Aramis Ramirez, and Baker shot it right past him down into the corner. Parra slipped. I'm sure there's some wet spots out there in the outfield with the amount of precipitation we've had the last couple of days, but let's have him in scoring position here with one out for Reed Johnson.
Looks like the Diamondbacks will concede the first run on the infield. Possibly the corner guys could throw home. Ramirez did not look like he was running particularly well from first to third, so they might have a play here. We'll see. Now, Bob, if you're in that other dugout, you see the way Ramirez ran from first to third. Do you maybe bring your guys in a step or two, even though they're kind of playing back, to cut down that run?
Well, I would bring him in a step or two. I mean, the way the Diamondbacks are positioned right now, you have to believe that Mike Quaddy has told Aramis Ramirez, you're going on anything hit on the ground. So for me, defensively, I might shorten the guys, especially the guys in the middle, up a step or two and think about getting that out at home plate, because Ramirez just isn't running well right now.
Montero with some nice blocks so far in this game, and when you catch Daniel Cabrera, I think you realize you're going to be moving around a lot.
Now, this is one of those days for Miguel Montero where a catcher's range will be tested. He's going to bounce some pitches in the dirt. He's going to miss on both sides of the plate, up and down. You know it's going to be a busy day back there behind the dish.
1-1. Out into right center. Cubs should get two here. Ramirez in easily. Baker's going to score. Johnson takes a look. He's going to try for 3. And he'll get in head first, but without a throw. It's 2-0. Some more slippage in the outfield. That ball got all the way to the wall for a triple.
Nice piece of hitting by Reed Johnson. That pitch was intended to be on the inside corner. Cabrera threw it out over the outer third of the plate, and Reed lined it into that gap in right center. A lot of RBIs out there to the opposite field, and Reed Johnson took full advantage of a pitch up and out over the plate.
Quick visit from Mel Stottlemyre Jr., their pitching coach. 2-0 Cubs. Been a while since the Cubs scored first.
You know, and we talked about this a week or so ago. You know, obviously the injury to Aramis Ramirez and the amount of time that some of the Cubs starting pitchers spent on the disabled list this year were key losses. No question about it. I'm not so sure Reed Johnson's absence from the lineup for most of the second half of the season wasn't just as important. Yeah, Reed was the guy that was platooning with Kosuke Fukudome, getting those at-bats against tough left-handed pitching. And as Cub fans know, every time Reed is in there, it seems like he gives the team a shot of energy.
And he's going to score on Soto's hit. He's trying for 2. Could be a play there. He's in. An RBI double for Soto. Three straight extra base hits after the walk to Ramirez.
Baker worked the first base line. Reed Johnson worked the gap in right center. Giovanni Soto right down the third base line past a diving Mark Reynolds. And I'll tell you, Burns, he got over there in foul territory to field that ball. Couldn't get much on the throw. Did his typical gymnastic tumble after releasing that throw back into the infield to no avail.
The rookie Colvin breaks his bat as he grounds to second for the second time. He was thrown out by Ojeda.
Good lineup roll over here, getting Randy Wells to the plate in the 4th inning, and even if he does make an out, that'll clear the way for the top of the order to start the 5th inning.
Right-hander Brian Augenstein getting loose. One 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss. 1-1. Cabrera does not have a strikeout to this point. He has walked 3 and hit a batter. We've talked about this many times before. You don't have to strike out a ton of guys, but if you don't, you really can't walk people. It's more about the ratio than anything else. And Cabrera has walked many more than he has struck out this year. It's not a particularly good recipe for success. Allen will make the catch right near the tarp, but the Cubs get 3 runs, supporting rookie Randy Wells today. Chicagoland viewers. How would you like to win $5 footlongs from Subway? Just be the 500th texter to text Subway to 97999. Go to WGNTV.com for complete info and rules. Reed Johnson with a 2-run triple, making up for that double play ball back in the second inning. Soto followed up with a run-scoring double, and it's 3-0. And Randy Wells has sent down 12 straight, including 7 strikeouts since the leadoff double by Stephen Drew in the first inning. Kind of had a feeling Randy was going to have a good comeback performance. On a Sunday in San Francisco, a 5-1 loss to Matt Cain. He gave up a career-high 10 hits and a career-high tying 5 earned runs. And he's been extremely consistent pretty much all season long. So it's been rare to see him have 2 back-to-back bad starts.
When he has gotten into some mechanical issues or some command issues out there on the mound, he's been able to quickly make corrections, which is something you love to see from a young pitcher.
I wouldn't quite term his year too good to be true in terms of a guy who kind of jumped, I wouldn't say out of nowhere, but wasn't expected to be a huge part of this rotation. Swing and a miss. And he works extremely hard, and that should serve him very well in the future.
Well, it's time to have a ball with our friends at the Illinois Lottery. The Cubs took the opportunity this morning to honor some of their minor league award winners, including Nick Frangella, who was the Southern League Trainer of the Year, Kyler Burke, the Player of the Year, Casey Coleman, the Pitcher of the Year, and also #1 pick Brett Jackson, along with O'Neary Fleet and Ryan Sandberg down on the field before the ball game today. Good to see all of them here at the park.
O'Neary, the Vice President of Player Personnel, runs the Cubs farm system. And the Vanakins are here. Pete Vanakin next door. Should give him a microphone. Broadcast the game. They're in from Peoria.
Boy, they have provided the fans down in Peoria in the central part of Illinois with some great baseball over the years. Pete Vanakin, one of Harry's best friends in the world. The stories that man can tell.
If you can see his son Rocky.
There's Rocky down in the front. Yeah.
He spent many evenings and afternoons in Peoria this summer.
Boy, and I cannot recommend it any higher. If you get an opportunity next summer. Oh, smashed to third. Nice play by Ramirez.
Robbing Parra of a hit.
They put on a great show down there in Peoria. The Cubs have a lot of really good-looking young minor league players coming through the system right now. I would highly suggest you get out there and check them out. Ramirez playing in just a little bit, protecting against a bunt. Only had enough time to lean to his left and stick that glove out there to make the play.
Burns 0 for 1. Wells has gotten in a really nice groove. That's a slider for a strike. Going back to my comment about Randy Wells, I mean, it hasn't gone perfectly. Remember how well he pitched without winning, as Fukudome playing back, so have to play it on the bounce. Seemed like Randy couldn't buy a win early on. But I just think he does everything the right way. And there may be that bit of a sophomore slump next year. It's bound to happen. The teams are going to try to figure out how to attack him. But I think he's in it for the long haul. I really do. He's not an overpowering guy, and I think he's gotten here and has stayed here, Bob, because he's very smart. He listens, he observes well, he works really hard, and for the most part he throws strikes. He's really hard on himself, which I think ultimately is a good thing. There are times when maybe, you know, after a game when he doesn't win, he could pull back a little bit on that, but you'd rather have a guy take all the heat than none of it. My point is, it's not always his fault, but he always takes the blame when things don't go well.
And I think probably the most important thing that you mentioned there, the attributes of Randy Wells, is how he watches and pays attention. You know, we've made comparisons to Greg Maddux. Of course, Randy Wells got a long way to go to put up the kind of numbers and have the kind of career that Greg Maddux did, but the preparation is very similar. Come out early, watch extra batting practice, watch regular batting practice. He does his video work, he studies the scouting reports, he sits down with his catcher and pitching coach and has a game plan every time he goes out there to the mound. I mean, preparation is never a problem.
1-2 on Brandon Allen. Bats 8, but he has some pop. Foul, just foul. Allen didn't run out of the box. I don't know if he thought he had bounced that off his foot or not, but he didn't run.
Well, that was an unusual play right there. Very innocuous play, but a ground ball down the first baseline. You'll see Derek Lee steps up in front of the base, and in his estimation, fielded that ball right on the line. Now, Dan Bellino, the first base umpire, has the worst view of all, and he's the guy that made the call.
Really, I thought would be the home plate umpire's call before it gets by the bag. Burns ran on the right pitch as he steals second, standing his 9th stolen base of the year.
Yeah, generally the play is in the hands of the home plate umpire until the ball crosses the base, and then it becomes the call of the first base umpire. But that time, the first base umpire called it immediately.
Chad Tracy's on deck to bat for Cabrera if Allen reaches. The other thing, Bob, about Randy Wells, I think he works as hard as he does because he knows he has to. And in some ways, you benefit from not having the best stuff on the staff in that it forces you to observe and work as hard as he does. I'm not saying he wouldn't if he threw 96, but he is very aware of how hard he needs to work to be at his best. And he's been at his best today. 9 strikeouts for Randy Wells. He's shutting him out through 5. Cubs coming back on offense, leading 3-0. Cabrera gets one more inning. His spot due up first in the 6th. As he faces the top of the Cubs order, Terrio, Fukudome, and Lee. And all Randy Wells today. A career high 9 strikeouts for Randy already. Previous career best was 7 off the plate inside. Terrio will end up playing in the most games of any Cub. This is his 153rd of the year. Hit it hard, but Ojeda gets it.
The Bud Light Concert Series continues. Roger Daltrey will be playing the House of Blues November 2nd, brought to you by Bud Light. Tickets are available exclusively at Ticketmaster.com. Distinctive voice of Roger Daltrey. November 2nd, brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light, the difference is drinkability.
He's calling it the Use It or Lose It tour as he warms up his voice for, I guess, another Who tour, which I have to check out. I've never seen the Who live. One and two on Fukudome. Cubs have done the damage in the middle to bottom part of the order. Cabrera has been good against the top of the order. Called strike three for his first strikeout. Engineer in charge is Greg Gressel. Hi, Greg. Mike Aiello. From Trio Video, Dan's and Bob. They do a lot of traveling. Eric will finish in the 300s. With at least 35 homers and a career best in RBIs. Reynolds comes in to play it on one bounce and slings it across for the out. After 5, 3-0 Cubs. Game summary, just 2 hits for Arizona against Randy Wells, who has a career best in strikeouts and no walks through 5. He faces a pinch hitter Alex Romero, batting for the pitcher Cabrera. Visit your Honda dealer. Test drive a 2009 Honda Accord. There's a ground ball to second. Baker up with it, 1 out. Cub fans, Len and Bob's baseball blog has joined Chicago Now. From now on, you can find the same great content from Len and Bob's blog at chicagonow.com/Len and Bob, as well as WGNTV.com. I have a post today with some special thanks on the blog. We have game notes from stats, much more. Make sure you check it out even after the season ends. On Santos' 7th inning stretch from yesterday will be up on the blog. Cubs legend. One and one on Stephen Drew. Wells works fast. Right back to him. Special thanks to our broadcast tech manager, Craig Marlowe. Mark Drazen, our director of engineering.
Does that mean he drives the train?
Yes.
He keeps us on the tracks, too. Most of the time.
1 ball, no strikes to former Cub Augie Ojeda, who's grounded out twice. He's a switch hitter. His hands high. Knee-high strike. Got a nice letter earlier this season from Henry C. Meyer, 92-year-old Cub fan. A Marine during World War II and was at spring training with the Cubs in 1937. Nice picture of Henry Meyer making a lunging catch at spring training in a Cubs uniform in 1937. He's in Roselle and plays golf every week. Hopefully you're still playing golf here in early October. The 2-2 from Wells is low. Nice note from Dolores Zager. Lives in Boca Raton, Florida. Loves the Cubs. And Dorothy Reed. It's pronounced Toulon, Illinois. Toulon. As we near the end of the regular season, we've seen some movement in terms of, unfortunately, people being dismissed from their positions. J.P. Ricciardi, general manager in Toronto, and a report out of San Diego that Kevin Towers will meet that same fate. Former Cubs coach Dick Pohl fired as the pitching coach in Cincinnati. This is that time of year. You're going to see probably more of that after the season ends. Ojeda draws the first walk given up by Wells.
Boy, especially for those coaches, and you and I both know, Len, the coaches do a lot of the heavy lifting over the course of a season for any organization, and very little security in that job. Many times you're tied to the manager, and if the manager goes, you go. And even those times when you're not tied to the manager, sometimes they just feel a change is necessary, a different voice. So very uncertain time of the season for coaches.
Cubs made one change mid-season. Von Joshua took over as a hitting coach for Gerald Perry. Lou has spoke very highly of his staff, and we're around them every day. They do a wonderful job. I want to thank them for making our jobs easier. Well, if we have a question about defensive positioning, or as you talked earlier about Tyler Colvin, mechanical tweaks, can go to Von Joshua, Larry Rothschild, Alan Trammell, Von De Jesus, Matt Sinatro, Lester Strode, Mike Quaddy. The whole staff, they're great. They love talking baseball every day.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. baseball coach, well, I mean, a manager, any staff position, it's a labor of love. You don't do it for the money. You do it because you love the work. These guys live and die with every win and loss.
Not to mention the hours that they put in. I mean, you know, the players start trickling into the ballpark for a night game, usually around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then you'll have a big flood of players coming in around 3:30 or 4. Well, the coaches have already put in about 5 or 6 hours of work by then, studying the videotape, studying the advanced scouting reports, planning out that day's activities, getting all the hitting groups together, making sure the pitchers that need their work in the bullpen get that work in the bullpen. Anybody that needs specific attention defensively, working on any aspect of the game, it all has to get done somehow before that ball game starts at 7 o'clock.
Lester Strode in the bullpen. I think pretty much every coaching staff and probably every manager in baseball will tell you the losses hurt more than the wins feel good. And that's why this job takes a lot out of you. Even if you finish 20, 30 games over 500, you tend to remember the 65 to 70 losses.
Yeah, you put it well. The highs are not as high as the lows are low.
I mean, you asked Joe Girardi, have you had a stress-free year? Well, they're 102 and 58. I'm guessing the answer is no. Runner goes on the 3-2, and it's hit foul and out of play. And I'm sure, you know, you won a World Series. You'd like to look back and tell yourself, I wish I had enjoyed it just a little bit more. And I know you enjoyed winning the World Series, but you say that to yourself after the fact, but when you're in the middle of it, it's impossible.
But that's what makes it all worthwhile. Knowing that all the headaches, all the sleepless nights, all the days you couldn't get your lunch down or couldn't keep your lunch down, you know, it all paid off in the end.
Swing and a miss. Reynolds has taken a collar. 3 strikeouts, 10 for Randy Wells. Still 3-0.
Strongly this year, and he has gone about his business today, carving up this Diamondbacks lineup. They shut him out here through the first 6 innings of the ball game. Once again, our AM/PM player of the game, Randy Wells. Too much good stuff.
Ramos Ramirez against Brian Augenstein. He greets him with a line shot single into left. He's been on 3 times in different ways. Hit by a pitch, a walk, and now a leadoff single.
lofty opponent's batting average against Augustine. You see 20 base hits in only 16 innings pitched. He too not much of a strikeout pitcher, only 6 on the season.
Baker with a big double as part of the 3-run rally in the 4th. Augustine's from Sebastian, Florida, and was a Gator. Went to the University of Florida. 7th round pick in 07. Two balls, no strikes. Three and 0. Reed Johnson is next. Brian Augustine likes Sebastian, Florida. He was born there. He went to Sebastian River High School in Sebastian, and he lives in Sebastian. I think he's there to stay. 6'6", 232.
It's been suggested that maybe he ought to move to St. Augustine.
Step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Two-run triple for Reed Johnson to get the Cubs on the board in the 4th. He has batted with 2 on now all 3 times. We were talking before the game, before he hit the air, about run scoring and RBIs. And runs are a function of not only getting on base, but having guys knock you in. Diving stop by Allen. They get 1 at second. The relay is going to be late. Runs batted in is a function of not only coming through, but having guys on base to begin with. This is a sort of day for Reed Johnson. He's knocked in 2, but he could have easily 6 RBIs.
From our Southwest Sky Cam, nice play by Allen to at least get the lead runner. No chance to get Johnson back at first base. Now in his first at bat of the game, 2 on, nobody out. Reed Johnson tried to put down a sacrifice bunt, was unable to do so, and ended up grounding into the double play. But you're right, his next 2 times up with guys on base, he's had opportunities.
Soto taps it, trying to get a run. The throw goes nowhere. Augustine knew he didn't have a play on Ramirez, so he tried to hold the throw. And it just kind of dribbled away from him on an infield single for Soto. It's 4-0.
You like the thought process. The execution wasn't so good. I don't know if Augustine would have had a chance to get Soto at first base. He did have a shot at Ramirez at home plate, but just couldn't come up with the baseball right there. You can see he was holding it with his little finger in his palm and just spiked it into the ground as he tried to hold up.
Now Colvin, who's been pretty aggressive, swinging early in the count, grounding out twice. He bats with runners at first and second, swings away, and that's going to be foul. Out of play. Hey, Bob, I want to acknowledge a couple of guys who worked really hard this season. And for the Cub fans out there who speak Spanish and listen to Elio Benitez on play-by-play and Hector Fabregas on color, doing Spanish radio this season. They did 23 games. Unfortunately, their final broadcast of the season was rained out Thursday night against the Pirates, but they're great guys. They do wonderful work, and we look forward to seeing them at Wrigley Field and listening to them next year. As always, we're email accessible, LenandBob@ChicagoNow.com. You can also tweet us at Twitter.com/LenandBob. Bob likes to be tweeted.
Only if they buy me dinner first.
One, two is low. Evens the count at 2 apiece. Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg will conduct the 7th inning stretch coming up. Brown's crew will handle the duties tomorrow. Down the line, foul.
Just a little too far out in front of that one. Looked like it was going to stay fair initially, but that ball just continued to hook the further out into right field it got, and just did drop in foul territory. Colvin chokes up just a little bit with 2 strikes. Tries to shorten up that swing, be a little bit quicker, and just a little too quick that time.
2-2 to Colvin. Another foul. Cubs would also like to thank WRTO station manager Doug Levy, Vice President Jerry Ryan. Great to work with as the Cubs are now on Spanish radio.
I don't know if you noticed there, but Miguel Montero, the Diamondbacks catcher, was coming out of the chute with a pickoff attempt at second base on Reed Johnson as that ball was fouled out of play.
Again, that time, that was ball 3. Let's see if the runners will be on the go here.
He comes up bluffing that time. The pitch before, Stephen Drew had broken for second base behind Reed Johnson, but the ball was harmlessly fouled out of play.
A liner off the glove of Drew. Johnson's going to score. I think. Yeah, he got in. Good throw by Young as Reed was just able to get in. An RBI single for Tyler Colvin, his first career hit at Wrigley Field. Got his first hit on the road trip, second RBI.
And a good battling at bat for Tyler Colvin, fouling off a couple of tough pitches. Eventually gets a fastball out over the plate and lined it just past Stephen Drew. It was a lot closer play than I thought it was going to be at home plate. Hard charge in center field by Chris Young. His throw was just a little bit up the third base line. Reed Johnson able to get on the plate.
A visit from Mel Stottlemyre Jr. Leo Rosales is up in their bullpen. And the watchful eye of Glenn Sherlock. Been there since day one, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. He's one of the few remaining original Diamondbacks in any capacity with that organization. Glenn Sherlock was on my staff when I was in Arizona. He was on Buck Showalter's staff initially and stayed on with Bob Melvin, and now here also with A.J. Hinch.
Bunted by Wells, that draws in the third baseman Reynolds, which is exactly what he wanted to do. 12 sack hits for Wells.
That's another reason you like Randy Wells' chances to be a very good pitcher in this league for a long time. He does all the little things well at the plate. He fields his position well. He could use a little improvement holding runners on base, but I think that's something that, given his work ethic, he'll iron that out rather quickly.
Second on the team in sack bunts, first among pitchers. And no play for Montero. No play for the fans right behind the visiting dugout either. They had their shot. Two fake umpires are enjoying a beverage behind the backstop. Drinking on the job. The faux pyres. Not hit hard. Ojeda will slide to throw. What a play on both ends. Ojeda showing great range to get them out of the inning, but the Cubs get two. It's 5-0. And chosen by our stage manager, Paula Ostrova, Cobra Starship with Good Girls Go Bad.
Daddy's little girl, just take a bite. Let me shake up your world. 'Cause just one night couldn't be so wrong. I'm gonna make you lose control. She was so...
Good Girls Go Bad. Today's Bud Light Fan Cam with just the right taste that never fills you up. The difference is drinkability. Leighton Meester from Gossip Girl on WGN featured in that song. This is Colvin retiring Montero right on the edge of the warning track for the first out of the 7th. 5-0 Cubs. Good Girls Go Bad. You have that one on your iPod?
I helped write that song.
Young bunts through strike one. Cubs have been really good about, I think, resting all of their starting pitchers. Now, everybody except for Randy Wells in the rotation basically has spent time on the disabled list, but Wells didn't throw even 100 pitches in any of his starts in September. Now he's going to get there today, just over 100 now, as Young pops it up way up in the air. Who's going to get it? Johnson in left.
The 2009 Chicago Cubs baseball season on WGN is brought to you by Bud Light. The difference is drinkability.
Gerardo Parra with 2 outs. And Hall of Famer Ryan Sandberg coming up with grandson Owen to sing the 7th inning stretch. Owen is currently sleeping. Colvin going after it. He's going to have to chase it down all the way to the wall. Parra is going to hold with a double. Their third hit, their second double against Wells.
Nice piece of hitting that time by Parra. Went out and hooked the ball back to the gap in right center field. That pitch was actually on the outer third of the plate, but good low ball hitter went out and got it and hooked it back toward the gap.
Runner at second, 2 outs for Eric Burns. Wells tries to keep this shutout in what is most likely his final inning. Bounced foul. There's other action going on right now. The Cardinals lead the Brewers 4-3 in the bottom of the 5th in St. Louis, and the Mets over the Astros 2-1 in the bottom of the 5th in New York. Brendan Ryan in that Cardinal game 3 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. Ryan Braun with his 32nd homer for the Brewers. Here it's 5-zip Cubs, and an 0-2 to Burns is in the dirt. That shirt unbuttoned, it looks like Arizona. 2 Z's. Chopped up the middle. Terrio will get it behind second. Pops the glove. Beats Burns by a step. Time for the stretch with Rhino.
For Take Me Out to the Ball Game is Chicago Cubs Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg.
Hey, everybody. It's great to be a grandpa for the second time. So I've got Owen Ryan here. Let's do this, but not too loud because he's sleeping, all right? No, let's see if we can wake him up. Here we go. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back, so it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame for it. At the old ball game. Hey, we woke him up. Here's the newest Cubs fan right here.
Here for the series win, Randy Wells excellent once again. And Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg in the booth with us with a little twist on the 7th inning stretch. Rhino, that was outstanding. Or should I say Gramps?
Well, that's right. You got to make the adjustment. When the baby's sleeping, you don't want him to wake up, especially when I'm holding him.
Yeah, that's quite a balancing act there. But nicely done as always. A great hand from the crowd. And always great to see you back here at Wrigley Field. And congratulations on a heck of a year with the AA Tennessee Smokies.
Thank you. Yes, we had a lot of fun. The guys really came a long way and battled to the end, and good things came from that. So the good news is there's some nice prospects on the way. And
it's deep into right center for Fukudome out Leo Rosales, a new Diamondbacks pitcher, and that'll be a leadoff double. And you had a couple of your guys here today as well. Tyler Coleman in the lineup, and Casey Coleman, the pitcher of the year in the Cubs.
Casey Coleman's a nice looking young pitcher. Reminds me a lot of Greg Maddux. Unassuming guy, but a guy that has good stuff, and he's grown up in the baseball world with his dad being a former pitching coach for a lot of years, Joe Coleman. But he does a great job. He had a great year for us. So there's some good talent along the way, and not only did we win in Tennessee, but the team won in Peoria, so that's more good news.
No question about it. 1 ball, no strikes on Derek Lee.
Now, Rhino, we saw you throw out that first pitch, and I know being a minor league manager, you threw a lot of batting practice this summer. How's your arm feeling right about now?
It actually feels all right, Bob. That's one thing. I've been blessed with a good arm to throw a baseball, so for me, it was more getting over the mental part of it, being able to throw strikes, and I accomplished that 3 years ago in Peoria. But I enjoy that part of the day. It's my workout. I get a little sweat going. You can really see the guys who's swinging the bats, and you move the ball around, and it's a good vantage point to see who's making adjustments at home plate, and like I said before, also get a workout myself.
2-1 on Derek Lee. A 1 hopper to the shortstop, Drew, who throws across, and that's out number 1. Number 23 retired by the Cubs in 2005. Number 31 retired back in early May, Fergie Jenkins, and your former teammate Greg Maddux. That was a fun day. And Greg, of course, just counting down now till the second he's eligible to join you in the Hall of Fame.
No doubt about it. First ballot guy, had a great career. Of course, started it here, coming up through the Cubs minor league system, and spending the first 6 years here, and then coming back. Yeah, he's first ballot Hall of Famer for sure, and great to see his number up there on the flagpole.
And I'll throw this out to both you guys. Unanimous, Greg Maddux. Can we ever do it where everybody votes for the one guy the first year?
I think
somebody always has to say no that first year, right?
I think the highest percentage, I believe, is something like 97%, 96. Tom Seaver, and that's kind of the standing bar as far as unanimous. I don't know.
He is for me.
Oh, for sure.
No doubt about it.
That's right.
Yeah, it's absolutely unanimous, and he certainly wouldn't be the only one. But as you say, Rhino, it'll be no doubt first ballot. I would be very curious to hear his Hall of Fame speech. You gave an outstanding speech at Cooperstown, and Greg gave us a few little clues. We had him in the booth the day his number was retired. His son Chase threw out the first pitch, and he told him, don't ever sacrifice location for velocity. He's already got his son pitching a little bit the way he used to as Baker pops it up. And Reynolds is going to have just enough room. Can you hang around for a couple more minutes, Rhino?
Absolutely.
We're with Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg. We'll be back. Cubs leading 5-0. Thank our wonderful crew, stage manager Paula Ostroba, who sits right behind us, Jeanette Rivera Rosa, our unit manager, Bridget Gonzalez, our production coordinator at WGN. And Smilin Caridad is on. Check out the studio coordinators. Christina Ballas, Eric Johnson on lead guitar. Joe Pizzo. As Brandon Allen, it's a rainbow to right. Fukudome, thanks to Steve Novak as well. We're with Ryan Sandberg. Can't let you go without reminiscing a little bit. 25 years ago was that magical 1984 season. And we see a lot of your former teammates from that team, but what stands out for you the most? I mean, obviously the Sandberg game against Bruce Sutter, June 23rd of that season, but does it feel like 25 years have gone by?
Well, if you look at the way I look, you can see it. Yeah, I look in the mirror every day, and yeah, it looks like 25 years. But you know, I think for me, it was that night that we clinched in Pittsburgh, and just finally did that and got the Cubs in postseason because I just got a history lesson that year, my third year in the major leagues, and just a history lesson on what the Cubs had not done up to that point, and we just going up against the Mets and the Cardinals and teams trying to knock us off, and hearing about the past of the Cubs, waiting for a fall to happen, but to hang in there with the guys that we had a great group of guys, and that came from elsewhere, that won elsewhere, and we finally clinched in Pittsburgh. I think that was a big relief, and of course going into postseason, the best of 5 series after doing all that work and beating all those teams with the 2 divisions, best of 5. It happened so quickly that we didn't get to the World Series, but what a great year, and Cub fans came out of the woodwork, you know, that starting that summer, and still we see that up till today, 25 years later.
And you learned what a magic number was.
Learned what a magic number was. Saw the first person standing across the street on the rooftop. It was one guy out there in it was left center field. We all looked from the dugout. Hey, look at that guy. He's watching the game. It was one person, and that was the start of what we have today. So pretty incredible.
2 strikes on Stephen Drew as Smilin Caridad, the young rookie pitchers who has opened some eyes here in 2009. 5-0 here in the 8th.
But also looking back, just coming up short, not getting to the World Series, and still haven't done it. So that's what everybody comes out here for and packs the place, and everybody's waiting for, including myself.
Well,
for that day.
As we said, it was 25 years ago, and when you guys won the division, it was the Cubs' first postseason appearance in 39 years, going back to the 1945 World Series. So you're right. Cub fans have been extremely patient, extremely passionate for many generations.
And talking as a competitor of that 84 Cubs team when I was with the Giants, one thing that stands out in my mind is how you guys consistently tried to do the right thing. Play fundamentally solid baseball. Len and I have talked about it all the time, the number of ground balls hit to the right side with the runner at second base, hitters looking for pitches up in the zone with the runner at third and less than 2 outs. It seemed like you guys always did the right thing.
Playing the game, and we had the right group of guys and the right manager and everything to have that game plan. So yeah, terrific year and played the game.
Great year this year.
You.
Enjoy the winter, Rhino.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Good to see you, Ryan.
See ya.
try to tack on here in the bottom of the 8th against yet another Diamondbacks pitcher, Yusmeiro Petit. Up a lot of home runs, 19 in under 89 innings of work. I've seen him as a starter in the past. Breaking ball low to Reed Johnson.
17 starts on the season for Petit. This will be his 6th relief appearance. Gives up a lot of base hits and, as you mentioned, a lot of home runs.
Not really petite. He's 6 feet 253. Pounded on the ground foul. Nice pick by Corey Miller. Along with Edgar Tovar, Cubs bullpen catching core. Again, 2 guys who work as hard as anyone.
Oh, man, I am telling you what. Coy Hill and Giovanni Soto, I'll buy those guys a car. I'm telling you, they catch every pitcher down in that bullpen, with the exception of the last 5 or 10 minutes of a starter. Then the starting catcher goes down to receive those pitches. But Edgar and Corey, they catch all the side sessions. They warm up all the relief pitchers. They throw batting practice every day. They do whatever's asked of them, and they never, ever complain.
A 2-1 on the way, missed. 3 balls and a strike. Foul as Reed cracked his bat. Well, one thing we know, and the Cubs are not going to the playoffs, but whatever team wins the World Series, the one thing you know is after your final game, the final out, that particular group will not be completely intact the following year. It never happens. It's kind of part of baseball. It's a big part of it these days with free agency. So, Reed Johnson, will he be back? We don't know. Parra on the track, reaching back, doesn't quite get to the vines. Let's hear from Lou Piniella on the 2010 season and how short that offseason can feel.
We've got the meetings, organizational meetings, first part of November, and I guess there we'll plant the seed for next year, and then you're right. Winter goes by awfully quick, Len. So I just want to wish all our fans a really a great winter and great holiday and Thanksgiving, Christmas season, and we'll be back at them again next February.
It's because I'm getting old, but the season goes fast, the off season goes fast. The only time of the year that doesn't go fast, and I do enjoy spring training, but the 6 weeks of spring training, because you're anticipating opening day, so like the longest 6 weeks of our lives.
Well, even the first 2 or 3 weeks of spring training is okay. It moves by pretty quickly because you've got new players in camp. You've got some competition for certain jobs on the ball club. But as Soto pulls one foul down into the Cubs bullpen, you get to those last couple of weeks of spring training, and the roster's pretty well set, and all the competitions are over and done with, and players are chomping at the bit to get the season started, and we're right there with them. The longest part of the year for the ball players is going to come up after they take a little bit of time off at the end of the season to reintroduce themselves to their families and their hometowns and get used to living in their house again, and then starting those off-season workouts. I mean, it's one thing during the season when you get in that weight room or you do your running, because you know at the end of it you get to play a ball game. You get to go out and compete, get some at-bats and some innings pitched, and that's the fun part for the ball players. But in the off-season, you don't have that payoff at the end of the day. You just spend a lot of time in a weight room, a lot of time on the track or running the bleachers, whatever the case may be, and you don't get that game payoff at the end of it. That's why the off-season seems so long for players.
A full count on Soto's had an excellent day. A walk, 2 RBIs, 2 for 2. And he's catching a shutout. That's the most important thing. Well, the adage is, if you hit a home run, you pitch a shutout, you're going to win. If you knock in a run and you catch a shutout, you're going to be in good shape. We'll do this one again.
A big event today, Len, after the ball game. We've talked about it for the last couple of days, but we're going to bump it one more time. We think this is something fans will really get a big kick out of. The Doug Davis Foundation, trying to raise some money to build ball fields for especially challenged youth back in Arizona. They're having an event over at John Barleycorn's after the game today. Going to be several of the Chicago Cubs over there, including Sean Marshall, Coy Hill, Mike Fontenot, and today's starting pitcher Randy Wells, some of the Diamondbacks players, Doug Davis obviously, Mark Reynolds, Dan Herron, Justin Upton, and many, many others. Unlimited appetizers and drinks for 2 hours, autographs, photos, or have a raffle and an auction. Great event to raise money for a great charity, and I highly encourage you to shoot on over to John Barleycorn's if you get a chance after the game today.
Doug Davis will face Ryan Dempster in the season finale tomorrow. Davis 8-14, Dempster 11-8. So we're rooting for Doug Davis after the game today, but not tomorrow in the game.
No.
Colvin with an RBI single his last time up. Low for ball one. Starting pitcher lines today, Daniel Cabrera, 5 innings, 3 runs. They all came in the 4th. Randy Wells for the Cubs, 7 shutout frames with a career high 10 strikeouts. I know Randy wasn't thinking about this. You never want to go into a final start thinking negatively, but what I was thinking is I just don't want him to finish 11-11. And he has a chance to go 12-10, the very worst, 1 game over 500, but the record not nearly indicative of how good he's been all season long. He'll finish with a 3.05 earned run average.
You just look at his first couple starts of the season against Milwaukee and Houston. He went a total of 11 innings and did not allow an earned run and came away with 2 no decisions.
Couldn't get a win.
Could not get a win. 7 innings, a 2-run ball against the Dodgers. That was a loss. 7 innings of 3-run ball against the Padres. That was a loss. Another no decision when he gave up 1 earned run in 7 innings against the Braves. He just couldn't catch a break early in the season, but it wasn't because he wasn't throwing the ball well.
Soto walked. It's Colvin, followed by Michael Hoffpower. Maybe. Well, they'll get 1. That's it. Allen hesitated before making the throw to Drew for the out at second.
Allen has had some issues down there at first base today, finding a handle on the baseball. Lost that one as he got it up into a throwing position, but was able to re-grip and get it on in time to Stephen Drew for the force at second.
So Hoffpower hitting for Caridad, and that will set it up for Carlos Marmol in the 9th. Caridad with a 1-2-3-8. Marmol will pitch in a non-save spot. And a nice letter from Kenneth Ashley from Fort Collins, Colorado, World War II vet, a lifelong Cub fan. Hoffpower flies out to Chris Young, who tosses a ball up into the bleachers in left center. Here comes the 9th, 5-zip Cubs. Brady. Just still trying to figure out what the D stands for. Director is Skip Ellison.
Delightful.
Our associate producer, Doug Stanton. And the executive producer, the Podfather, Bob Forwald. Great work by our entire crew all season long. Carlos Marmol looking for a clean ninth after a 1-2-3-8 from Caridad. Fastball at 96 to Ojeda for a strike. Auggie's gotten on once, a walk in the 6th. A pop-up, Terrio backpedaling, waving his arms and making the catch. Let's hear from Lou Piniella on the great passionate Cub fans who ride that emotional roller coaster every day.
They do care, and that's the most important thing. You have fans that don't care, and you got problems. So the other thing is you're right. You get a little bit on a roller coaster ride here, but you know there are expectations. In the 3 years that I've been here, I think we've raised the bar a little bit as far as expectations are concerned. And the more you raise that expectation, sooner or later you're going to bust through that barn door and bring a world championship here. So just be a little more patient with the new owner coming in now. It's going to help immensely too, and I look forward to working with him.
Talking about Tom Ricketts and the Ricketts family. The transaction isn't completely finalized, but he'll be the new owner coming in very soon. Mark Reynolds pops it foul, 2-2. One last note here, we want to remember Helen Marie Bruce, who passed away in South Dakota earlier this summer, swing and a miss. 2 down. She was an avid Cubs fan. As the fans stand near the night. Mark Reynolds, by the way, now with 220 strikeouts on the year. Flew past his previous record of 204. A 1-1 pitch. Not sure where it was, but apparently not in the strike zone, according to Ed Rapiwano.
Well, the guys behind home plate called it a strike.
And he went.
We'll usually see umpires clapping.
Got him! Cubs win. It's a shutout, a 3-hitter, 3 pitchers combined. And the Cubs win 5-0. This was a fun one today. Time for Go Cubs Go.